Next, you can also use asset-based community development techniques by mapping the assets of the community and initiating partnership.
Asset what?
Asset-based community development, or ABCD for short. We have to recognize that everyone has something to contribute to the community, either their interest, skills, or passion. Everyone is and has assets. When different people with different assets come to support one another, you are able to grow your social capacities, and connections can be made with local assets such as buildings, land, spaces, and funds. So, to recap, in the first stage of service learning, discovery and partnerships, it's important that you learn from the community, form reciprocal relationships, and utilize your skills and knowledge to meet the aspirations in the community. The next stage of service learning is project management.
Do we really need to learn this? We already have so many projects in school.
That's true. Well, for service learning, there are some project management outputs which are especially important, such as sustainability and continued community involvement. To ease this process, we have created the Community Engagement Toolkit for you. With this toolkit, you are able to allocate roles and responsibilities, set timelines and goals, and monitor progress in order to evaluate the impact your project will be making. Remember to also consider your own commitment level and capacities, and be transparent with all your stakeholders to negotiate on the deliverables. Within the team, it is also important to ensure that everyone has a say and everyone's perspectives are fairly considered.
Now that we have our plans, we can go ahead to partner the community.
Not quite. Service implementation, which is step 3, is always planned with mutual agreement and respect with partners, so as to build on the understanding of how others live. We have to remain open to learn from the community and the interactions they have.
How can we learn from the community?
Good question. All stakeholders are serving and learning. The project team can work closely with the community partner to ensure that the partnership is one built on equity and reciprocity and not encourage uneven power relations.
How can we go about doing so?
Remember, under the ABCD framework, we must recognize that everyone has something to offer. After spending some time with the community, we might identify certain strengths that are invisible or unexpected.
Oh, I see. So, we shouldn't judge or assume certain things about any community before partnering with them, is that true?
Exactly. We all have preconceived notions and stereotypes based on our social conditioning. It's important that you put those away when you are working with members of the community. Here's Levin and her team on their project, Together We Care at the Singapore Disability Sports Council.
Hello, I'm Levin from Together We Care SDSC. The aim of our project is to enhance the inclusivity of persons with disabilities, also known as PWDs, in our community through sports, which is specifically through culture. So why we chose this aim is because we all know that the year of 2020 is the year of Olympics and the Paralympic Games. So we hope that we can use this opportunity to garner support for our para-athletes through bringing culture down to the community. In addition, sports has also proven benefits for PWDs in terms of both physically and mentally. And how do we go about achieving this aim? So in March, over 2 weekends, we conducted 2 training workshops for staffs of senior activity centres and early intervention centres. So in the workshop, what happened was basically we just taught them some fundamentals of bocce, such as like the rules and how to modify bocce such that it's a very welcoming game for anyone, and specifically how to modify the game for their own target audience. Actually, before this project, all of us in the group didn't really have much interaction with PWDs. So our impression of them is maybe just they may face a slightly more challenge in life. However, through this project, after interacting with PWDs and all, we learned that PWDs are really strong-willed individuals. They are highly respectable. They are determined to overcome any adversity they face in life to continuously improve themselves. In addition, their positive attitude towards life is really very inspiring. And I think most importantly, we also learned that behind PWDs there exists an immensely supportive network of family behind them.
So through our short yet meaningful interaction, I feel that we have formed a genuine relationship that's built on respect. So I've learned so much from them, be it like their knowledge of pocha, their passion for the sport, their attitude to always strive for excellence, and even the positive outlook of their life. So during our short break, we also chatted with some PWDs, and some of them shared with us like how's their lives outside of training and how they came across the sport. And it really showed that actually they are no different from us, and more so they inspire us to always have a positive attitude towards life and also be grateful for everything we have. Firstly, definitely is showing respect for the sport and the athletes, and also having a humble attitude to learn. So pocha is definitely not an easy sport to pick up because the mastery encompasses accuracy, strength, strategy, and also critical decision making. So while we were taking turns to practice with the help of PWDs, it was very heartwarming to see like some of my friends really giving their best, showing a good attitude to learn, asking for advice, and also cheering each other up. And also when we were tasked to actually come up with such suggestions on warm-ups and also mini drills of pocha, it was very nice to see that some of us actually were very enthusiastic about it to engage the team as well, even though none of us are actually very familiar with the sport in the first place.
Reflections are important connectors between each stage of service as it informs you of current processes, increases self-awareness, and assists in developing future plans. Here are some questions to consider. What? So what? And now what? The personal and group reflection is critical for you to understand your place within civic society and internalize a sense of civic responsibility. You may be students, but you have great power to affect change in your surroundings. If you find it hard to start with the reflections process, you can always begin by asking within your team or the community you are working with for some feedback to get the ball rolling. Lastly, demonstration captures the totality of the experience. This includes your learning and the service or contributions accomplished. Right from the beginning, remember to document all parts of the process to tell the story of what happened during each stage. Whenever possible, pen down your thoughts, take a bunch of pictures and videos, and work with your community to document the project as you go along. This can provide a foundation for future projects. So, Iza, can you share with me a little bit more about your project this week? We are almost at the end of the video. Thank you for sticking around. To recap, here are the 5 stages of service learning. At each stage, ensure that the community voice is heard and strengths are recognized, that all stakeholders are involved, serving and learning, and do regular check-ins to ensure that objectives are being met. Are you inspired, ready, and looking for areas to implement service learning? Check out the Office of Student Affairs website in the description below to find out more. All the best to Iza and you in your service learning journey.